Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbathicary. Really good to see you guys again. If you're new to the channel or like the videos, please show your support by hitting like and subscribe down below. This is the 7th of our Christmas crochet videos, and in this one we'll be making this cute little gift, a wine glass holder embellished with holly berries and leaves. I'll be using a 4.5mm hook and a worsted weight yarn. For our foundation chain, we'll be working in multiples of 4. I'm using a 175mm glass, and we want to make sure that the foundation ring fits over the bottom of the glass but doesn't slip completely over the glass of the glass. So I'm starting with 24 chains. So we're going to start with our slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain 24. We're then going to slip stitch to that first chain that we did, and now we have our foundation ring. Then going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet all along in every chain along till, in my case, I have 24 single crochets. You may have 28 or 20. And then to complete row 2 or round 2, we're just going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we did, and that's round 2 completed and a nice secure base. We're then going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and chain a further 3, which will count as our chain 3 in between. And then we're going to double crochet right back into where we just came out of. So double crochet. We're then going to skip 3 chains along and double crochet into the 4th stitch. So we've missed 3, double crochet into the 4th. We're then going to chain 3 in between, and then double crochet right back into that same stitch. We're going to repeat this all the way along. So we'll skip another 3 and double crochet into the 4th. Double crochet. Remember, these are US terms. We'll chain 3 again and double crochet right back into that same stitch, and then we're going to repeat this all the way along. In my case, I should have 6 of these double crochet chain 3 double crochets. If you've done 28, you may have 7, or 20, you may have 5. So I'll meet you guys back at the end once we've finished round 3. So I'm just completing my last double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain of that first chain 6 that we did to complete round 3. As you can see, it does get a bit wider doing it this way than it was at the base to fit around the glass. So we'll slip stitch into that first chain 3 space, do chain 3, and then 6 double crochets into that chain 3 space. So that will count as 7 double crochets into that chain 3. So we'll do 6 and straight into that next chain 3 space with another 7 double crochets. And again, we're going to repeat this process all the way along. So you should do 7 double crochets into each chain 3 space along. And as I've got 6 of those chain 3 or double crochet chain 3 double crochets, I will have 6 fans with 7 double crochets in each. So pause the video here and complete all your fans or large shells, and right at the end we will, just doing my 7th one there, then we are going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain of that first chain 3 that we did, and that is round 4 completed. So round 5, we're going to slip stitch into the 2nd double crochet, slip stitch into the 3rd double crochet, and then slip stitch into the 4th double crochet, which will put us in the middle of that fan. And now repeating round 3. So we're going to chain 3 to count as our first double crochet, chain another 3 as the chain 3 in between, and then double crochet right back into that space. We're then going to move over to that next fan, and in the 4th double crochet we're going to double crochet, chain 3, and then double crochet right back into that same stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way along, working into the 4th double crochet of the previous fans, which will put us in the middle or at the top of each of those fans. So repeat this process all the way along, and then slip stitch to that 3rd chain of the chain 3 that we did, and then we're basically just repeating round 4. So you'll slip stitch into that chain 3 space, chain 3, and do 6 double crochets into that space. So I've now completed 2 rounds of the fans, or 7 double crochets. I'm going to slip stitch to that 3rd chain. Now for a 175ml glass, I find that the 2 rounds of fans is just perfect. But if you're using it for a 250ml, you might want to do 1 more round of the fans. Now onto the strap, and I'm making this one for an order, and she hasn't let me know how long she'd like her strap as yet. So I'm just going to do a few chains for demonstration purposes. So I normally do about 115, but we're going to chain as many as you want. You can wrap it around your neck to measure it. But once you have your desired length of chains, you're going to fold your holder in half, and you're going to slip stitch onto the other side. Now if, like me, you have an even number, you will be joining at the same place as you did on the other side, so it's in between 2 of the shells, I guess, or the fans. So we're going to slip stitch onto the other side, then going to slip stitch over 1, turn our work, and we're now going to single crochet up those chains. Now remember, don't go into the first one, as that was your slip stitch. You're going to go into the last chain that you did, and we're going to do a row of single crochets. So single crochet in every stitch along until you get back to the other side. So I've just got 1 more to do here, so 1 more single crochet in there. Then we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch along. Oh, I keep dropping it. So slip stitch into that next stitch. We'll then slip stitch into the next stitch along. We're then going to turn our work, and we're going to slip stitch into every one of those single crochets that we did, and this secures them better, stops the chain or the neck bit from stretching out, makes it a lot stronger. So slip stitch into every single crochet along until we get back to the other side. We'll then slip stitch back into the holder, slip stitch 1 more just to secure it, then you can snip your yarn and sew in your ends. For the leaves, I went down to a 2mm hook and started with a chain of 10 in the green. We're then going to slip stitch in the 2nd chain from the hook, single crochet in the 2nd, half double in the 3rd, then we'll do a double crochet in the 4th, 5th and 6th chains, a half double in the 7th, single in the 8th, and slip stitch in the last one. We're then going to chain 2 and slip stitch back into that stitch, and we're going to mirror on this side. So we'll single crochet into the next, half double into the next, 3 double crochets in a row, half double, single, and slip stitch to complete. And there we've done the foundation for our leaf. We're now going to chain 1 and slip stitch into the slip stitch from the other side. Single crochet into the next stitch along, and then we're going to do a 2 chain picot. So chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first chain that we did, Then slip stitch into the next chain along, or the next stitch along. We're then going to slip stitch into the next chain along, single crochet into the next stitch, and then do your 2 chain picot again. So chain 2 and go into the first chain and slip stitch. Then we'll slip stitch into the next stitch to secure it. And as you see, we've now got 2 of the little spikes on our leaf. So we're then going to slip stitch into the next stitch along. So we'll slip stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to do another single crochet. We're just before that tip now, so single crochet and do your 2 chain picot again. So chain 2, slip stitch into that first chain that we did. We're now at that chain 3, so we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then working into that chain 2 we'll do a single crochet and another picot. So we'll chain 1, 2, slip stitch into the first chain that we did. Oh, that one's quite tight. So we'll slip stitch into there and then back into that chain 2 space with another single crochet. We're now working down the other side. So single crochet into the next stitch along and do your 2 chain picot. So that's 2 and slip stitch into the first one. Then going to slip stitch into the next stitch along, slip stitch into the next stitch along. Then we'll single crochet again, and again 2 chain picot. So 1, 2, slip stitch into the first. Oh, it's a little fiddly with the small hook. We're then going to slip stitch into the next and slip stitch into the next stitch. Then in the next we'll do our single crochet and our 2 chain picot again, slip stitch into the next 2 stitches along. Then to do the stem, just chain 6 and slip stitch into the second from the hook and slip stitch all the way along, slip stitching back into the leaf in order to secure it. Sew in your ends, remember to leave a big tail in order to attach it to your work. And onto our berries, we are going to start with a chain of 4, slip stitch to the first chain that we did. We'll then chain 1 and in through that loop with 6 single crochets. We'll then slip stitch to that first single crochet that we did and onto round 2. Chain 1 and we're going to increase on the third stitches. So 1 single crochet in the first 2, 2 in the third, 1 single crochet in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 2 in the sixth. Then slip stitch to that first single crochet to finish round 2. Now you have 8 stitches, so we're going to decrease. So chain 1, single crochet in the first, then single crochet the next 2 together. So that's into the second, yarn over, pull through, into the third, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 on the hook. Repeat these single crochet, then single crochet 2 together 1 more time, which should leave you 2. I then single crochet each of those and then slip stitch to that first single crochet to finish your berries and leave a nice long tail so that you can sew it in. As my holder is the same color as my berries, I leave an extra long tail so that I can attach it with this as it contrasts really well. So just attach them to your cup holder and then you're good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a bit rushed to fit into the 15-minute limit that I have. If you did enjoy it, please hit like and subscribe, comment down below, send us some pictures if you've given it a go, and come back to the Herbothicary with the hook nook for another Christmas tutorial very, very soon.